joining us on this Radio with Pictures in the Field. And in the field means that we've been producing the programs in Lambasa, where for a week we worked with 45 women leaders and young women aged between 17 and 76 years old. They came together from across Vunimoli and Rambi as well, from communities such as Tawake, Savusavu, Langi, Dongatuki, Mali Island, from the Lambasa Market Vendors Association, Nalemba, Vuniduidui, Bulileka, Nanduna, Vunimoli, Wailevu, Nangai, and Mataniwai. I feel like I'm a telephone directory when I go through all of these lists. But anyway, just to give you a snapshot of this is where they've all come from. And to discuss with us in this episode of Radio with Pictures in the Field, we've got 17-year-old Deepshika, who lives in Vunimoli, and you're going to be in 7th form this year, am I right?
Sure.
Yes, and then we have Mereia Tabuvale. Mereia, you're 35 years old, you're a member of the Bulileka women's group, and you're also a market vendor, aren't you? You're a very busy lady. So we're going to talk to the two of you because it's almost like Vunimoli and Bulileka are either side of Lambasa town, right? But are there similar needs for the two of you, for your communities, when it comes to accessing the kinds of services, information, going to school, bringing your produce to the market? Are the issues the same, whether you live in Vunimoli or whether you live in Bulileka, because both are rural, right? Deepshika.
Okay, both issues are interrelated. So whenever we have health issues, everyone in Lambasa actually faces it. So though Bulileka is on the other side and Vunimoli is on the other side, we actually need to look at the main thing, which is health, and most probably the main thing that we need is infrastructure and road conditions to improve. Though some places in Bulileka are not that developed yet, and it does not have good road facilities, but we would like to see more improvement, and that's it.
Okay, so tell me, Mereia, for the Bulileka women's group, what Deepshika just talked about accessing health, going to the hospital, just to go to Lambasa Hospital. What do the women have to do from the main village, from the surrounding villages? What do they have to go through to get to the hospital?
From Bulileka, it's 15 kilometers from the town. From example, from Riketilelai, it's too far from town. When it's time to flooding, they get the horse back during flooding time. They come to reach in Bulileka, and they come to catch the ambulance or something to take them to the hospital, because their road is not good. And when they need transport, they, like I say, that they ride from the horseback and come to Bulileka, and they come to wait for the services there in Bulileka.
Okay, so to then get to Lambasa town, because if you're trying to, what does that then cost? Horseback is free, but there are only so many people that can ride a horse, right?
Sure.
But what would the cost be, just for you to get, if one of your children was sick, what's it going to cost you?
It cost us $10 one
way. So it's $20 just to get to the hospital. And for the other communities, it's obviously going to cost more. The horses, the horse riding, because this is also an issue that's come up in conversations with women from Nanzonga. Why do you think the roads have not been improved yet?
I think the road was not improved because they didn't raise it up for their meetings, but we thankfully will come to the family organization. We come to learn that we have to follow these structures to the government, so that we know how to develop and how to follow that structure to make the development to happen.
So are the structures working for you then? So if you've got this information, we love giving information out. We've shared CEDAW, the National Gender Policy, the National Budget. But what are the structures you're talking about that need to be listening to you, that you need to be participating in?
We need more women to be participating in decision making, so that they will take our issues and taken into account.
Which meetings should they be in? Is it in the Bose meeting?
In the
Kina?
Bosevakoro meeting.
Right, yeah. Okay. All right. On the other side, Vunimoli.
Right.
When you're driving to Vunimoli, you kind of got this stretch of tar seal, right? And then it stops.
Then
yeah?
it stops there.
And then there's like one school, there's a stretch of tar seal,
And
then it stops, right?
Right.
So why does the tar sealing stop and start?
Basically, we didn't actually voice out our opinion, right? So what we actually need to do is community should get involved. Every single individual needs to come forward and actually have a consultation done that they actually want this to happen, because it does not happen with only one person. There needs to be community leadership, and everybody needs to come together and in uniformity. That's how it's gonna happen. And if our individual is like fighting for this and the community is not backing them up, there's nothing that's gonna be happening. So my main aim is to get as many people involved in this process as quickly as possible, so that the road infrastructure is repaired as soon as possible.
We've actually seen in Vunimoli, in fact, I hope you attend your mum's Vunimoli Arya Mela Mandal group. Your mum's group actually has contributed to improvements in infrastructure, where up on the hill, the water tank project and improving the kitchens means they've addressed the issue of water for the community, and they've also, improved the temple area because it can now be an evacuation center. So my question, and why do you think that despite this leadership of your mum's generation, we don't have your mum and other women as district advisory councillors?
This is actually a good platform for us to get started.
Yes.
So this is a building block for us. So if this continues, we will surely be members of the council as soon as possible. I hope that happens. And if not so, and if our community, the community is backing us up, and I hope this will happen, so that we can actually contribute more to our community and more to Fiji as a whole.
Okay. One of the campaigns that FemLink has had, leading up to several of the elections, but also more so 2014, not just for Fiji but other Pacific Island countries, is called Here Are the Women. Do you think there is a need for us as women in our rural communities to actually be talking more about what we do? Or is it the case that we do our club activities and then we just keep quiet because otherwise we'll be seen to be showing off or, too much talk? Do we need to say, here are these women, this is what they're doing? What do you think? For Bulileka?
I think more women to be trained, especially in rural areas. They are lack of understanding. For example, in the market, when I was interviewed for the last 2 months with the man selling bottles in the market, all the people there, they were shouting about my name. This one can talk, this one can talk to the media. And I think that I was experienced it with this organization. And I was talk straight in that time. I was not afraid. I was able to speak in that time. And after 2 weeks, when they came to the market, when I came to the market, all the people there, they were shouting out my name. Hey, we see you in the TV. And I thank a lot that it gave me courage to speak my issue or whatever I want. They saw me in the media. It was the first time for me to speak like that, where all the people there saw me in the market.
So people know that you are a leader, not just in your community, but you can be a leader for the market, right? So does that mean that we need to be showing that there are a lot more women like Mereia, that there are a lot more Mereias out there, and that Mereia herself needs to encourage other women to also be talking and lead?
Yeah, we need awareness and training for those women and able to participate or to voice out like me, to face out the crowds, to speak in big space like that.
Okay. So Deepshika, hearing what Mereia has to say, and that quite often we are told that it's against our tradition, it's against our culture to speak out, to be a certain way, to have an opinion. You can have an opinion, but don't share it too much. Be careful. For young women like yourselves, you know, 7th form students here in Lambasa, what are young women aspiring for? What is the kind of leadership that they want?
Cultural and regional barriers have been there since like forever, but we actually need to get out of this shell and to actually get our opinions straight. We actually need to come forward and actually tell people and get the community involved in telling us what we're doing wrong in our community, so that this issue can be addressed to everyone.
And what do you see specifically for young girls? And maybe it's just the young girls you've been going to school with for the past, you know, since year one. What are some of the key issues for young women in Lambasa that should be addressed? You know, the new National Development Plan is being finalized. I don't know if they're going to ask young women, what do you think? But if you had a chance to kind of inform the National Development Plan, what's needed for young women like you?
Young women should actually make a platform, or actually another NGO society should come forward as a young women's empowerment group, so that each young woman can actually voice out their opinions, get the facts straight, because each individual has a controversial issue that they want to talk about. So as I have a lot of friends who take science and other stuff, as I hang out with a lot of people, mostly they are all about the environment and everything that surrounds Fiji. So if you look at the environment and Fiji as a whole, if a youth empowerment group is created, it will not only enable us to come forward with our issues, but also to voice out our opinions and how to make and find a solution to what our problem is.
So what is the problem? What would be the problem that you'd want to raise?
There has always been gender inequality in the society, as boys and men are always looked upon, and girls are usually like the back seats, as I would like to say. But it doesn't stop there. Girls actually need to get their opinions and actually fight for what's right. They should actually come forward and just come out barging in. Don't wait for anything, just make it happen. Be strong and just do it.
But I like what you said also, that you also need to get your facts right.
Right.
So the facts are that a national development plan is being finalized. The government departments are consulting, are reviewing the draft, and public consultations are going to happen. So Mereia, for you, in looking at, you know, the 5-year national development plan, we started talking about it last June, July. What would you like to see as the development priorities, not just for Bulileka, but for the whole of Madawata, for Vunimoli? What's important for you?
It's really important for me to see that the development is happening in Vunimoli, and we want to see more women to participate in decision making, able to see the issue of women in rural areas.
And what typically needs to be addressed? You've talked about road and health services, but what else? I mean, you work at the market. Should the National Development Plan look at the specific needs of market vendors? Do you need land to plant? What do you need?
We need land to plant, and we need for the lease, for the people who haven't got any lease, to have a proper lease, and we need in various good service in various communities. In example, like the hospital in Lambasa, we need a good medication in various communities to the health service.
So we need an improvement in health services. We need the better roads to access the health services, to get to the market, and rural women also need access to land. You have been the youngest person in our consultation this week, so we're going to wrap up with you. 5 years down the line, if you were writing a report about Fiji, Vunimoli,
Okay.
what would you like to be writing about? What would be the good stories you'd like to be able to tell?
At first, I would actually like to go in the community and actually explore what's actually going on in the grassroots level, because the main key issue is there's lack of doctors, and some of the specialized fields, there's no doctors in specialized fields, and in writing interior, I met a friend. She was from Bua. She was talking to me that there were lack of doctors, and it really spoke to me because one child and a mother was died in this incident, and this in fact is not tolerable. If I were in power, I probably would not have let that happen in the first place, but since it has happened, we can always rectify our mistakes and prevent it from happening. So I'd actually put in more doctors at some of the in the interior division, so that traveling from far and from the islands, they have to travel through boats and actually get to the health center, which is a very big hassle, and some families which cannot even afford to do that, as they need a good source of income. So basically I would actually help people out by going and actually communicating and conversing what their real issue is, and actually getting the real issue in a nice order, like from 1 to 10, and actually do what is right at the first place. Because for me, the main important issue is health, and if a person, for example, has incurred, has died or something, that issue will come as my first priority, as we will not want to see an innocent victim being
to die. Okay, thank you so much to Deepshika and Mereia. Just wrapping up and thinking about what Deepshika has shared with us in this final segment of Radio with Pictures from the Field in Lambasa, is that development planning really has got to be informed, well researched, by consulting with the community. And when we talk about consulting with the community, we've got to ensure that those that are consulted comprise of at least 50% of women of all diversities. These are the commitments that have been made to women of our country in Fiji through the ratification of CEDAW. It's there in black and white for government officials to see in the National Gender Policy adopted in 2014. We're going to continue with our Women's Human Security First journey throughout the year. You can follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, and of course keep up to date with our stories on YouTube. Thanks for watching.